Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Things in pink, and this is beautiful, all different colors, so please do not mess that up. Okay, so now I'm going to take this beautiful creamy caramelized onion, thyme mixture and pour it over top. And then I'm going to get my spoon in there, and this spoon is kind of cool. You know, we're in an old church kitchen that I made a new church kitchen, and I found a lot of interesting things in here. Among them, this guy, like,
All right, I'm back. Thank you for watching. Okay, let me send some here. Now let me go back. Okay, I'm back here. Hold on. Now let me. All right, guys, I'm just sending some invitations here. That's all. Okay. Thank you for being around and thank you for coming back. I appreciate all the followers, all the people that have been watching my videos, hundreds of them. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for participating. Thank you for sharing our videos and these live presentations. I appreciate. Well, I am talking to you guys from California, United States. It is 11:55 a.m., almost 12 noon Thursday. So we are around the corner of the weekend. I know for some of you folks out there from Asia and other countries out there, probably it's already early morning on the Friday. So for that, I appreciate your participation and I appreciate your comments. And I always encourage you guys to participate, to ask your questions about anything. You know, I'm not saying that I'm going to have the answer for anything, but I was just trying to engage in a conversation, you know, and from, you know, for what's going on right now throughout this planet, our home, and perhaps talk about some of the situations we're having, some of our suggestions and opinion. And of course, we need to be, it is mandatory to be respectful, watch your language, and respect everybody that participate, regardless their religion or ethnicity or country of origin or whatever. Okay? So thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate. Right now it's almost 12 noon. Almost, yes. Right now it's Thursday, California time, United States. It's 11:57, almost 11:58. If you guys have any question, any suggestion, I'm here to talk about it. There is a lot of thing going on when it comes to visas, a lot of confusion, a lot of people have a lot of questions and of what's going on. Catherine, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate. Hi, thank you so much. And of course, there is a lot of confusion out there. You know, last time I checked, you know, on the news. They're talking about 75 countries, including Brazil, that will have some visas limitations. According to what I understand and some sources that I have, this visas talking and situation is mostly about immigrations or immigrant visas, different type of visas. It seems to me that on that new list, they're not really talking about tourist visa, for instance. But I encourage you to contact an attorney, immigration lawyer or attorney, so they can definitely tell you what's going on. In case you wanna some sort of recommendation, I can tell you this. You can contact me on the Instagram page CarlosTodd63, CarlosTodd63, and I will recommend some of folks that are highly qualified to deal with the situation. Just give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. 1 second. Okay, so I am, for now, I repeat, for now, I am recommending this law firm here in the United States. They are pretty much connected to the following places, which is Las Vegas, of course, here, California, and New York, and also Florida, specifically, mostly, I would say, Orlando, Miami area. But if you have any additional question, you can just scan this QR code here, and this is my information there. I can also help you with that. Okay? So this is pretty much about immigration cases. If you have questions on immigration cases, you can, like I said, scan this QR code right there, and then we go from there. And also you can contact me on Instagram, CarlosTodd63. Aos brasileiros que têm alguma pergunta, está necessitando de algum tipo de esclarecimento, sem a mesma informação, ok? Aos brasileiros que querem saber mais sobre visas e questões de imigração nos Estados Unidos, pode contactar essa companhia aqui. É uma firma de advogados de imigração, ou vocês podem também, se quiserem falar comigo, me contactar, pode fazer o scan, o QR Code aqui, ok? Lá nós poderemos, então, esclarecer uma série de perguntas, porque eu sei que em matéria de imigração, agora mais que nunca, muitas pessoas têm muitas dúvidas. E também uma das razões é eliminar o achômetro, né? Eu acho isso, eu acho aquilo, eu ouvi falar isso, eu ouvi falar aquilo. Isso é o perigo que tem, que é a má informação, a desinformação, especialmente as meias-verdades. Ok? Okay, então, now let me go back to English. Sorry, folks, I was trying to send the same message in Portuguese to our followers from Brazil and other Portuguese-speaking countries. Okay, this law firm, they pretty much, they take care of a lot of Asian clients, Chinese speaking in other languages, Portuguese, English, and Spanish, and some other languages. So you can contact me or you can contact them directly, it doesn't matter. Okay? But we are here to talk about different things too. So if you have any question, any concern about anything related to United States on what's going on, I will do my best to answer your questions. All right? I hope I answer Chris C. Question. Thank you. Aos brasileiros no Brasil, outros países, também em outros estados, aqui nos Estados Unidos, também pode nos contactar pelas informações que eu apresentei no início. Em outras palavras, vocês também podem me encontrar no Instagram, na página do Instagram, Carlos Todd, Carlos T-O-D-D, 63, Carlos T-O-D-D 63. Carlos T-O-D-D 63, Carlos T-O-D-D 63 on Instagram. All right, thank you. All right, so what's cooking? What is bothering you? What is the curiosities out there? And what is the, some of the things that you guys would like to clarify or even say, as long as it's important or not, but it is respectful, you are absolutely welcome. Okay? Thank you. Now let me send this to Instagram. Just hold on there, folks. Okay, I'm back. Hello. All right, if you folks have any question, any comment, just let me know, okay? Thank you for stopping by. Okay, I'm back, so feel free to ask anything. Again, we are like right now it's at 12:07 p.m. So we are noon, and today is Thursday, right here in California, 12:07 p.m. right here in California. So you are absolutely welcome. Everybody's welcome. Thank you for stopping by. If you folks have any question, any concern, any comment, please do so. The only thing that I normally ask folks is to be respectful and, careful with your words so we can respect everybody on this platform unconditionally. Thank you for stopping by. I'm here to answer your questions and talk about any topic that you find interesting and about the United States, Brazil, or any other country. If you speak Português, Espanhol, se você fala espanhol, português, é bem-vindo também. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for checking our channel. Folks, we are over about 1,100 followers, subscribers on our platform on the YouTube channel. And for that, I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful. Thank you so much. I appreciate. And also, if you are in different countries if you speak Português and if you speak Espanhol, é bienvenido, é muito bem-vindo também aqui. Se tem alguma pergunta em português ou espanhol, é bem-vindo também aqui no canal. Obrigado. Thank you. If you speak any other language than Portuguese, Spanish, and English, unfortunately, I do not speak any other language than Portuguese and English and Spanish. Thank you so much. Okay, one question, a few of the questions that a lot of people ask sometimes about me, what do I do? Okay, I provide personal, private, and professional assistance for those who wants to come to the United States of America. And if you have any need of support, 100% support, answering questions, solving problems, solving things that you would like me to solve, that's what I normally do. For details and information, you can contact me on the Instagram page, CoTodd63. CoTodd63. Thank you. I normally don't come live presentation like this on a Thursday, very rarely so, but today I had a little time to do it and I decided to come over here and have some time available for those who are out there, different countries who would like to have someone in the United States to ask questions and maybe I can answer them. Hi, Bo, did you state it? Reading the quota? No, I don't. No, I didn't. So I appreciate Abdul. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for your question. I'm not a religious guy, so although I consider myself a not very, but a spiritual person and know a few things about the gospel and a former religious person, gospel-related kind of person, I guess I can say that. But I'm not affiliated, intentionally supporting any religion. So I call myself a self-informed, for now, self-informed, and self-opinionating when it comes to religion, but I appreciate your question. And if you folks are like Abdul, if you have any other question, you can bring it up. We are here to talk about anything you want to talk about. This is a great moment because, you're gonna have someone like myself who is generally concerned about being trustworthy, kind of opinionating guy who wants to bring only facts, non-biased information. That's what I'm intending to do here. And this is a unique opportunity for all of us, I know you folks are out there, some other countries, some other situation, would like to have someone for a conversation about anything, about what's going on, Of course, if the topic is too sensitive, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to have to be very careful using my words because I don't want to put anybody in trouble, including myself, right? And speaking of that, the reason is very simple. For those who think that we are living in most of countries on a freedom of speech kind of environment, think again. This is an utopic idea. It doesn't reflect the truth about what's going on right now. Right here in the United States, we have to be very careful in these days. I think it was like that before, but right now it's very tricky for us to, engage in a conversation or uh, do something like I'm doing right now, using those platforms like the YouTube channel. And naively so, I don't know if that word exists, but it would be very naive for me to think that the platforms like a YouTube channel, Instagram, TikTok kicked me out a few months ago. And so don't you think, people, don't think you guys out there have a freedom of expression, because this is very, very further from the truth. Okay? We have limited freedom. We have to be careful what we're saying, how we're saying, against whom. And, it is very well controlled system, a communication system right now, not only here, but of course on the traditional uh, news media networks. Oh my goodness. So it is sad moment. Maybe it was like that before. It's just that it became so obvious now, and that the only thing you have to do if you want to survive this uh, difficult moment in history is to be careful. Mr. Nobodies, Mr. and Mrs. Nobodies out there like myself and you need to understand that we have to be careful. And this is one of the lessons that we have to, I think should be lesson number one, that we need to be very careful in what we are saying, what we are doing in these days. We've been watched, and for that, you have to understand that folks like you and me have no power at all. We are just here talking about stuff, and those in charge of our lives, which mistake me for many to think that they are there, that you are in charge of your life. This is very naive. That is not true. But we go as far as we can, as far as those people, powerful people in control, will allow us to go to fit their purpose, not ours. So a truth can become a lie in a few minutes and hours, and vice versa. So we need to learn how to live in this very sensitive moment in history where we should walk carefully with our steps when it comes to information, when it comes to what we're saying, when it comes to everything else. So we need to be very protective, if I may say, of our safety. And in some instance, our safety it's in our own hands, a little bit, not all, and not all the time. But we need to choose what kind of situation we want to live the next few months, some few years, and who knows how long. But the reason why is that a lot of people out there, I'm talking about some of the countries that I understand the political scenario, at least a little bit, let's say like Latin America and right here in North America, so we do have very, very powerful people in charge right now. And they have the final say about our um, future, our destiny. And it is sad, maybe it is, but also it is a reality. So, and for those who think that the good, like God, complicated issue, are in charge of everything, think again. Evil, whatever you want to describe evil out there, if you want to use evil as a religious subject, element, or character, or whatever, it's up to you. But whatever you decide to describe the evil, this evil is in charge right now with his followers. And it is interesting because a lot of people are follower of the evil, but they don't know. They really think, some people honestly think that they're serving this good God somewhere by doing certain stupid and crazy things out there, all right? But they're not. In reality, they're serving a real evil by doing certain things. Look, folks, let me tell you something which is interesting in religion, okay? When certain things happen, religious people use the following arguments to justify when it's evil and when it's God's purpose, they call that. They like to denominate God's purpose and actions. When something bad happens to good people, those religious folks like to use an excuse as an excuse that it is the God's purpose and we can't question this and we can't understand. When a bad thing happened to what so-called good people, religious people like to say that it is God's will and God's mystery, so we cannot question and we cannot understand. Now, when something bad happened to certain people, for whatever reason different that I was just explaining, they like to say that this is evil actions. So religious people rationalize the bad things out there and they attribute the actions and results of the actions according to their own convenience. That's how religion acts. And this is how it is. You know, you can read the scriptures for those who call them who call themselves evangelicals, for instance, and I believe other religions too. You know, when they see all those bad things that supposedly was God's mandate actions, they justify using mystery and God's will. There is a name for that already mentioned, but I'm going to repeat. This is very convenient, behavior. So, and this is why I always considered religion bad for humanity. And I said over and over and over again, I've seen what so-called good people, being part of religions. And when I see that, I feel obligated, responsible to inform people that if your God, it is good, under no circumstances, He will mandate, order, determine that a bad thing supposed to happen to any group of people. One supposedly religious argument, actually, not mine. I'm just using now. God is good, God is love. And God knowing everything, He cannot use excuse to do bad thing to anybody if we are all children of God or child of God. So it is kind of some sort of at least hypocrisy when we justify our bad as a God's will and the others' bad actions as an evil actions. Bad actions, it's bad regardless in which hand is practicing, including your God. Hello, Razak, I appreciate Khan. I'm here giving some slap in some folks, religious folks again. I just couldn't help. So, long time, yes. Thank you. So, folks, we have to have the courage to acknowledge that regarding which hands the practicing is evil, it's evil. Bad things does not change because a good person is practicing or the serve of the Lord is it's practicing. This week we are following the news on a situation in Minneapolis where, accidentally or not, they found out that one of some church, not gonna name the church, but it's out there in the news, you can find out, had it as a pastor, director, pastor, high roller on that church, who was also an agent director, regional director, something like that, for a group of people who are practicing some questionable actions against the people. So there we go, all the scriptures comes to light that we cannot serve two lords, two kings, are both sides of the aisle, the good and evil. But some folks, insanely enough, think they can. Thank you. Thank you, Brittany. I appreciate. So, folks, clear as water, spring water at least. Nothing is gonna change evil from evil and good from good. It's not my tie that I'm just putting to impress you guys, because I don't like ties. I wear for so many years in my life. But I don't like it. But the fact that I have a white shirt or whatever color, a tie, excuse me, trying to make sure I'm clear on my statement. It's scriptures, whatever scriptures you have, the Quran, Torah, Bible, name it. If I practice evil, guess what I am, or who I am? I'm evil. I can have dozens of Bible, even I could, maybe I did write the Bible. It doesn't change. Folks, mostly evangelicals and so-called Christians sometimes, they like to explain the plagues in Egypt and other evil things that happened to other people, supposedly they were bad people, and the invasion of other lands. Sounds familiar, because we're having right now, as God's will. So, if it is a God's will, it's not evil. But if that person, it's not part of the team, it's not evangelical, it's not in the Judaism, Muslim, or any other religion out there for that matter, if they do something bad, now they are evil. We call some of the names, we can, describe this kind of action is rationalizing our sins, rationalizing our bad doing, bad actions, bad behavior. And another thing you're going to find, well, I think I am kind of expert in what is wrong, I guess. If you're part of these groups, of those groups that I mentioned, I'm not going to say anymore those religious groups. When somebody makes or commit a bad thing, they like to call, guess, weakness, which could possibly be, but depends. Because if it is committed from someone outside of the circle, then it is evil. Can't forgive. Let me tell you something about forgiveness, sin, bad actions, or weakness. You will be, I don't think you would be surprised, but let me give you an information. You can check it out. Your Google out there, that's the new dictionary we kind of have out there now, right? I have my dictionary somewhere. Right there. It's old. 150 years old. Just kidding. But it's old. Um, you would be surprised that you're going to see many states, speaking of the United States of America, have the death penalty. And most of those states are religious states, mainly evangelicals. They do believe in a death penalty. They practice the death penalty. Although on the Sunday service on their church, because most of them, they're very, very evangelical. I'm not going to use the term Christians because with my long time observation on the religious practice in the United States and abroad, back home, my old home, Brazil, over 30 years ago, these folks, they go to church very often, Sunday school, sermons on a Sunday, Saturday, Wednesdays, sometimes at least three times a week. They go to their pulpit. They bear their testimony about the infinite forgiveness of Christ. The infinite love of God and Christ for themselves. But now we have a very bad sinner out there who committed a crazy, horrible crime. So, for that reason, that person does not have the right to live. They should die. So they like to practice the Mosaic law, the Moses law, eye for an eye. Then cherry picking sins and sinners. Who deserve to die by execution and who deserve to live by the glory and salvation of Jesus Christ. Hypocrites. There is this old saying, I'm not sure if it was Winston Churchill, I don't know, I don't want to be firmly saying that it was him, but it's this old saying, quote from someone. To our friends, everything. To the enemies, the law. In this case, the religious people, eye for an eye. How convenient and hypocrite is this kind of thoughts. Amen. That's why over and over and over again I say religion is the huge part of our problems, not Christ. Oh, so you're against Christ. Oh, so you're against Jesus Christ's teachings. No, I'm not. Although I know a thing or two about King James. If you go history, you have to understand when you read the Bible, you need an extra inspiration. Because everything that humans puts their hands on it is questionable. Everything, including their gods. And sometimes I bring the question, who was created first? Did God create the Bible, the scriptures out there? Or man create God? And then everything else came along. It's up to you. Spirituality, it's necessary in this crazy planet of ours. But the religion destroys it. You can use the scriptures, what you call Muhammad teachings, the Old Testament. Although the Old Testament, it's a very controversial when it comes to love, infinite love, and stuff like that. But you still can use it. But you need a lot of spirituality and very, very little or less or none religion. And let me tell you something else. And this is reality. God, as we see, as we learn from religion, it is a very, very, very complicated figure. He can love you one time in one hand, and he can also destroy you on the other hand if it is his will or his infinite understanding of life. Sounds odd, doesn't? So let's think about that. Be a good person and make no mistake. If for whatever reason, whatever reason, someone in your religion tries to explain to you why some group of people needs to be destroyed in order for the kingdom of God, and you guys know what I'm talking about, in order for his prophecies to be accomplished, fulfilled, whatever you want to talk about, this God of yours is insane. Or your brother or your sister, your pastor, who argued or bring this argument, well, I know it's so sad, but it needs to happen this way to fulfill his prophecies. I cannot use the words that I would like to use for this kind of insanity, but I'll let you figure out. Folks, follow your instinct. You don't need someone insane in a pulpit to tell you what is right, what is wrong. And let me tell you something. For those who are trying to justify killing because he killed, or he or she killed, let me tell you this mathematic formula that I have. And I tried to bring this with me. 2 wrongs does not makes 1 right. Wrong is wrong regardless who is practicing the wrongdoing. You are not special because for whatever reason you think that you have your God with you. No, you are not. Sorry to bring this up. Wrong is wrong. Regardless. I don't care what kind of God you have with you. Wrong is wrong. And here in the United States, currently, we have infinite numbers, I should say, of churches, temples, ethnicities, mainly, you know who, explaining why we should do evil, why we should kill people, why we should not take care of the poor, or cherry picking which poor we should take care. Because it's God wills to do some stupid things sometimes. It is insanity. That's the name for that. Here in the United States, you would be amazed in a bad way of how many religious people are doing evil things in the name of God and Jesus. And some other religions too, but we cannot even mention because certain people, group of people, you can't say anything because if I say something, they may come after me too. So sad. I hope we understand what's going on, and I hope we can learn something from it and have the courage to do the right thing. Thank you.